Okay, just listening to a guy in the US at the moment. Signal's been up and down like a yo-yo, to be honest. Didn't have much on the Super Bowl before. All right, let's just let it sit there a bit. We'll turn that volume down just a tad. This is a very rare, and I know we say rare, but when I say rare, I probably overuse the word, but finding a D201A that's got the right channel selector, that's got, relatively unmarked for its age, getting it freighted over from overseas, it's no easy feat. And I'll show you why in a minute. There's a few things that have to be considered when you're freighting one of these things. Even inside Australia, I'm still trying to make up my mind what we do. I've got a few of you right now that want me to put this in a box, or one of these, a box. I've got a few of these, and send it to them. The trams that we've sold so far have all been picked up. And the great thing about being picked up is that I can sit here and go, hello, test, 1, 2, 1, 2, etc., etc. Sorry, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, test. And I can, show someone it working and do everything it needs to do. And pretty much, by the way, that's the beloved Tram desk mic, which good luck trying to find the exact mic. Don't know quite seriously whether that's for sale or not at the moment. I want to keep a 201 for myself, no question. They're just, but I do have a few of them. So let's go through the problematic issues of a Tram D201A, and anybody that is looking at restoring one, which I'd highly recommend. It's a great job. I actually haven't done a 201A with a full restore yet. Possibly, after my heart surgery and that, and if I, live through a few things, and hey, that could be on the table actually to have a bit of a play. But for the moment, the D201A, I've got some units that need restoring. I've got others where I guarantee you there's hardly anything wrong with them. They're things that, because they've been shipped to me and we haven't got a chance to look at them, there'll be small little details. But let me just show you why a D201A is such a painful thing to bring over. Now, I've brought them over from the US and over from New Zealand. It doesn't matter where they've come from. Once they've hit the freight path, trust me, just a few things to be aware of. And look, I'm far from an expert. I was trying to find a pointer. Just let me get something that's not metallic that I can point with. The trusty carpenter's pencil from GBS Tools. By the way, GBS Tools down in Melbourne, I deal a lot with them. They're at all the field days, Elmore, Henty. Great guys, unbelievable. Okay, so just on a quick look, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 valves that are all socketed in these radios. And that's if I haven't missed one somewhere. It's highly possible. So when these are shipped, some people actually are pulling the valves out completely. Depends on your level of expertise. The sockets, this unit here, I'm going to be quite honest, this didn't fire up when I first got it. And I sort of thought, oh, bugger this, really? Because it's such a clean unit. It really is. It's absolutely clean. And as you can hear, it's got a cracking hot receiver on it now, etc., etc. Anyway, the problem was the contacts along these rails here where this board clips on. Now, what I did, just as a tram, very basic scenario, pulled all valves, sprayed every valve socket, sprayed every valve, put them all back in. Sprayed all these areas here, little regulator board here, took that out, it's a plug-in board, sprayed all that. Because two things are really important about Tram D201As. One is that, you've got past all the dry joint issues and things that things of the 70s had, so there's, that's one issue. But secondly is that voltages are everything. These radios, if you are not used to playing with high voltages, walk away from this radio and do not try to do one as a project. I swear it's just a bad move. It's a very bad idea. I am borderline as to whether I should be touching these. I mean, you know, I've got isolated supplies and everything set up here, and when I disconnect and I'm zapping capacitors everywhere, and I'm making sure that I've got the thing to power down, but these things can give you one hell of a boot. So don't underestimate it. It is a fully valve. I mean, like these 6BA6s, these are all like IF valves, and there's quite a few different things that make this happen that you really got to do your research on, and me included, by the way. Before I would restore this, I would sit down and absolutely go through the manual 100% as per exactly how this works and how you get from point A to point B with signal, how they double, what they do, where the audio boards are, everything. How do they modulate? So many things. The other issue that you do see on D201As that I've picked up is definitely the relays down the back here. This one actually was very good. To be very honest with you, and I'm just listing over here on an old Kenwood, but 1 2 1 2, beautiful, and the response coming back is beautiful. It really is. So, and that's nice. A lot of people get confused on the D201As in the fact that they do have this crystal and manual situation. How do I put this? I probably would just leave it in the crystal position and set my crystals up, which, as you can see, is quite a bundle to set up. That being said, it's one of the few radios where I would almost implore you, even though legally ACMA are going to have a problem with this, to do a clarifier slide, and not for any other reason except for the fact that these are older bits of equipment, and you need to be a little bit aware of their limitations as far as their transmit frequency will vary. So if you can adjust that transmit frequency as well as your receive frequency at the same time, it just allows for those slight tolerances. And slight comes sometimes on a radio like this can actually be more than slight. So what have they got? Initially, yes, just 40 channel as we run through. AM. Just turn the volume up there just in case there is anyone. Just see on the Super Bowl. There was a bit of US coming in just before, and I think we've just missed that. Although I didn't hear anything on the Super Bowl or Channel 11 when I was having a quick play. Channel 38 seems to be very busy with US stuff. So don't mind me. By the way, the other thing I'm doing when I'm doing this, I'm actually testing that channel selector. This is one of the better channel selectors in this. Believe me, go to Mike's CB Radio Repairs and learn how much pain it is to deal with channel selectors. And there's no assurance with either model channel selector. You just know when you've got a good one, because trust me, I've had a bad one, and that's a nasty situation. Okay, so basically, just about everything on it is similar to every other CB that you're going to see, as far as for the metering for SWR calibration, SWR power, etc. So I've got to print the manual. They have an RTC here, which is sort of like it seems like it's like a little filter IF type of way but I haven't had a chance to even have a play with that yet. Hence, read the manual, and I've got to. I'm not even going to try and fake it here. I haven't. And I think what happens is, this is like a tone control for the receive, and it sort of sounds like it's adjusting the IF a little bit. It's hard to say. It just could be straight out tone control. But from what I can see here, then you've got a tone control on your TX output, mic gain, and then tone control for your TX output. And I think that would make sense. TX tone control, RX tone control, sure. And if I'm wrong, I'll find that out when I read the manual. And there's some guys in the US there. Now that meter is reading a little higher than what it should at the moment. That's quite adjustable. By the same token, that could just be the noise level here. So let's just have a look. Let's take the antenna off for a minute and look at that. It's not the meter. No, we've just got a bit of noise happening here at the moment. There you go. So, it is actually reading quite accurately, which makes me wonder what I've got going in the shed here. I normally don't get any noise out in the shed here. I've got something running. Okay, so then we go to manual. And once again, remember, haven't read the manual on this yet, haven't done anything apart from just get a couple of them going, you know, because I was too lazy to read the manual and just got them going by doing some logical things. But as I come around here, it's like a VFO control, and it would be much better to show you this. There's a signal in there somewhere, but much better to show you this when the band would actually be open. So basically I'm coming up channel 11, 12, and we're just coming up 23, 27, 29. It's just a pity the band's not open. Now, the suggestion there is that it's going to 27.4, and then it says 500. So 500, well, no, so 27.45 is there. So it can actually listen, oh, it listens a bit further actually. Up to 27.5 it can listen to. Let me just bring it back down to channel 40 here. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, it's all right, just wanted to, sorry, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you are transmitting on that manual position. So I don't know if that's a mod where that was always the case, but that would be deemed illegal in Australia, no question, if, you know, it has the ability to transmit receive that's outside of the type approval. So just something to be aware of there in the fact that we'll go back to crystal operation, but where if you're using it in crystal operation, I think you'd be hard-pressed to have any problems. By the same token, this issue of type approval is one that you can't sort of just let go of and say doesn't exist. You know, sort of, it is something to be aware of, that radios need to, and by rights, you know, sort of, that last test I just did really should be on dummy load, so that's just a faux pas on my behalf. But as we're having a listen here, chap in the US just starting to come in. See if we've got anything else, because they're starting to... Oh. Hawaiian Islands. Now, they do have a switch here for noise blanker, so, and noise limiter. You can turn that off. Doesn't seem to be making a huge difference. Obviously, upper sideband working beautifully. You can hear the difference down to AM. And while we're on AM and the US is starting to come through, let's just go have a little listen. And we're getting, oh, just hearing some US starting to come through on AM there. Oh, thought we were going to get lucky then. Anyway. Yeah, now he's not going to hear me on the little whip that I'm on at the moment or anything, so there's no point me even calling him. But certainly this unit does transmit quite well. But to do that, just hang on 2 secs. Right, so what I've done, now let me just explain the law. Under the type approval laws here in Australia, in America, you're going to think this is me being a little bit over the top, but to do any extended transmit tests like I'm about to do, no, we need to go into a dummy load on this, only because of the type approval issue. It's a legal issue over here. Most people that are buying a radio like this, like myself or anybody else, isn't it funny? We probably don't intend to use it. I know that sounds crazy, but they're very collectible, and they're something that sit on shelves and look great in museum displays. But in Australia, just to be very clear, the 201A is a bit of it's a grey area. Well, I don't think it's grey. I think that unfortunately ACMA could take issue with it. So just know that up front. Okay, so I'm on a dummy load, which means that now I am able to $10 to 12 watts, which is what I'd expect out of this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is not a peak meter, so don't expect to see too much there. But no, I'm quite happy with that. You can get quite a bit more out of them. This to me appears to be one where actually I don't think it's been played with at all. It's a very, very clean example, and personally that's exactly how I'd want them. It just makes more sense. Now I'm just going to go back to, sorry, actually I wanted to do a test on AM and just have a look at carrier output on AM. About 3.5 watts, and when I hollow it up about 5 watts. So yeah, no, that's doing what it should do, and that was on a 6 watt scale, just so you know. So let me just go back to an antenna, which will obviously not transmit at that point, just to be 100% compliant. And let's have a listen and see what we can hear. Okay, so we're fired up. Let's go back to lower sideband. I tell you, when a signal does come in, and I wasn't fast enough earlier with my video, when a signal does come in and it's strong, the audio that comes off this thing is unbelievable. Look, I'm not going to lie, the standard speaker sounds all right. Believe it or not, this little thing here is just that little bit sharper, and I liked it a little more for this video. There's a bit more bass in the larger speaker, where that just gives me a sharper response there. Now let's just see if... Yeah, no, we're not going to get lucky here, are we? I was hoping we might, but... And I know there's a few of you sitting there saying, oh, you've got to be kidding me. There are people on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere, running amateur radios on 27355 and doing videos, and there's people that are running CBs with massive mods and massive amplifiers. And I say to them, that is your choice. Unfortunately, Australia has some laws that are still what they are. So just please bear with me with that. I have to explain that bit. I have a pretty tight agreement with ACMA on this. It's and look, I do have a scientific license, which means that when I went into that dummy load, I'm quite able to do that quite legally. There's no issue. I'm able to sit here and listen on this. By rights, if you unplug that microphone at the moment, it doesn't make the type approval correct, but it makes it incapable of transmitting, which is sort of a nice way to maybe finish this video off in the way, But yeah, look, this is beautiful. As you can see, it is very nice, apart from a little bit of dust that I've got left on it. And do you know what? I've had so many people who've wanted me to find a decent 201A for them, and isn't it funny? Part of that trek is for myself too. I've got so many radios here that I haven't had time to even pick out one for myself. So anyway, whether this one stays or not, we'll see. I'm pretty sure, go for a walk, I think we've got the original box for this. I think this is the one that had the original box. I'm just about sure that we pulled it out of Tram. Yep. From Tram. Yep. Look at that. Tennessee. Anyway. Yeah. So that's got an original box, that one, which is kind of nice. I'm pretty sure the serial number's even matched. But anyway. So we're not going to get much more on this, which means our video is going to come to an end fairly abruptly, because unfortunately I can't show you much more unless the band was to be a little more compliant. But at least it gives you an idea of the 201A, what it does, where it stands legally, and where it stands, sort of for you if you're going to attempt to restore one. This left-hand side, dangerous. This right-hand side, equally as dangerous. So definitely a lot of, and on the underside, dangerous. Okay, so there's a lot to be thought about if you're going to contemplate having a D201A, or we've got, just very quickly, I'm probably playing advertisement here, but they're the DACs. Yeah, there's a couple of very nice D201s here as well, which feels like it's 23. That, hang on, let's have a look. I can see this here. Yeah, so that's 23 there. I can't actually see through the angle on that, I'd say that's a 23 as well. I'm pretty sure all the 201s were 23s. So anyway, but there'll be a couple of D201s that'll be coming up, and they can go out the door. But yeah, anyway, look, this has been a good chance to show you, well, not just a D201A working, but also to go through the problematic issues that can be very much apparent in D201s, that you know, everything from shipping to just owning it and maintaining it. There is a level of that you're going to have to consider, whether that's the right radio for you, and that's certainly something that everybody needs to make their own sort of choices on. Once again, if you're not used to playing around with high voltages, no problem if you just want to buy it and keep the lid down and put it on a shelf and even receive on it. And we've talked about the transmit side, but if you want to get inside it, you need to definitely go back and do some trade school, or get very friendly with somebody who is happy to assist you, which is probably the better idea. And the band definitely has closed down. It's been a bit of a crappy day today. We made some contacts into Ham Radio Live this morning on 15 metres, and we barely, I think the best signal we got was about 5 and 7. In the end, it was very difficult to get any decent signals. All right, Tram D201A, beautiful radios. No question that they're very much wanted by people. Here's the rear of, sorry, I forgot to show you guys before, that's the rear of the D201As. All original, 110 volt. You even have a foot switch ability that you can do here for transmit receive. So if you're using like a Heil or something like that. But yeah. Okay, thanks very much. Appreciate you looking at this video. To the people who've inquired, I don't know whether we're going to make it. I've got surgery next Tuesday, then I'm out of action for a while. We can talk about this one, but I mean, look, I've just got to be honest. This is just not a cheap product. So we'll certainly talk to me about it. I've got another D201A. Actually, it's our last one. We've sold three A's. We've sold one 201. Sorry, that's right. I get the numbers right. But we've got one left apart from the one I keep. So, and I know the other one from memory. I think it had an intermittent on, actually very similar on that board. I just needed to clean up. So it'll be the same thing because it's being shipped. And yes, and the preference is that, people that pick them up, it's definitely far easier. But if you're technical and you know everything I've discussed here, look, I understand. That's different. You've got an ability to buy it as you see it here, and then realise that, well, if it worked here, it'll be something very intermittent, like a valve's come loose or something, or one of the board sockets is become displaced because some courier driver decided to throw it. All right, 73s. Thanks very much. I'm in a wild rush to get everything finished before next Tuesday, so if you're on that list, trust me, we're on top of it. A whole lot of boxes went out today, and so actually we are pretty much on top of it to the point where there's only a couple of orders that have come in late today that will go out tomorrow, but apart from that, we have caught up pretty well, so that's the good news. 73s, thanks very much. VK3 Charlie Mike. Appreciate you having a look at the old Tram D201A. Cheers all.